Today we are going to be talking about seals. No, not that seal. Not this one either. There we go. This right here is the NBA seal, and it's pretty important for any process you wish to file in court. It has the lawyer's name, obviously, then the enrollment number, then this cool serial number that has a degree so you'd know it went to school just like you. It also has an NBA logo and an expiration date. Let's look at the highlights of this rule and what it has to say about seals and stamps. So firstly, if you're a lawyer and you are acting in your capacity as a legal practitioner, your documents and processes must have a seal and stamp approved by the NBA, then a signature to accompany it. I want you to take note of the word acting in capacity as a legal practitioner. This means that not every letter you write must have a seal and stamp. For example, if you're writing a love letter to your girlfriend, it makes no sense to put a seal and stamp there unless you want to flex. However, if you plan on serving a writ of summons on your girlfriend, then you have to frank it with a seal and stamp. Why is it compulsory? Believe it or not, the seal and stamp policy is a fairly new policy, started by the NBA to help curb quack lawyers that were not called to the Nigerian bar from filing processes, and also stopping them from practicing. The seal and stamp policy, alongside the compulsory payment of practicing fees, helps to ensure that it is only legal practitioners that are supposed to practice that actually practice. Now, what if I don't have a seal and stamp? Is my signature strong enough? Unfortunately, your awesome signature isn't strong enough for the courts to give you a waiver, so you need that seal. What about lawyers in full-time salaried employment? Well, these lawyers in salaried employment aren't serving court processes on behalf of their employers, so any letter they write to the potential clients of the employers won't need a seal and stamp. If these lawyers go ahead to file processes for clients that aren't their employers, however, then they have to frank them with a seal and stamp. Now, you'd think that the lack of a seal and stamp would render the document void, but that's not the case. It's just deemed irregular, and such irregularity can be cured by getting the seal from the NBA and affixing it on the document. And if you put your thinking caps on, your follow-up question would probably be, why go through all the stress of making that rule if the consequence is almost non-existent? Now, in my personal opinion, I believe that this is where equity comes into play. Imagine if the court processes become void just because the lawyer forgot to do the needful. That would be gross injustice to the client, don't you think? Now, let's do a quick recap of today's lesson. Firstly, a seal and stamp is compulsory when you want to file your processes. If you don't affix it, it doesn't render your documents void. It's just seen as a curable irregularity. Also, it's not all documents that a lawyer has to put the seal and stamp on. Just on legal documents when he's acting as a legal practitioner. This rule goes hand in hand with Rule 9, meaning that if you haven't paid your practicing fees, then you can't even apply for the seal and stamp in the first place. And with that, we've come to the end of Rule 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and remember, stay lawful, stay informed.